Right now, News 3 Now speaks with Senator Bernie Sanders about his take on the Harris Wall campaign. Also, Madison's favorite apple grower says goodbye after decades of apple growing with his wife. And we're following the Badgers as they look to continue their win streak in New Jersey against Rutgers. We bring the highlights. That's all coming up on News 3 Now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jalen Banks. Bernie Sanders campaigning in Baraboo today for the Harris Wall's ticket. The independent Vermont senator speaking to a crowd about abortion rights, climate change, and former President Trump. Our Ellie LaLiberte spoke with the senator one-on-one about how he feels he can help the Harris Wall's campaign.
Bernie Sanders, just the latest big name in politics to travel to the Badger State. The Democrats trying to bring their message from the rallies to the polls. The scoreboard at a middle school in Baraboo lit up with a message, 2024-47. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders campaigning for the Harris Wall's ticket in swing state, Wisconsin. And the purpose of Sanders' visit to a purple sock county.
Well, it's no great secret that the election results here in Wisconsin are going to be very close. This is a pivotal state. I'm doing everything I can to see that Kamala Harris is our next president.
UW journalism professor Mike Wagner says the purpose of surrogates like Sanders is to reach different blocks of voters.
Sanders is very well liked among younger Democrats and also more liberal Democrats. And so Sanders can play the role of communicating to Democrats that Harris, who's running a more centrist campaign, is also good for the left side of the party, the more liberal side of the party.
Talked with some progressives who say that they are tired of voting for the lesser of two evils and say that, Harris might not be doing enough to win their vote. What would you say to those individuals who aren't so sure right now?
I don't think it's a question of the lesser of two evils. I think the choices are clear.
And while the Vermont senator says he doesn't agree with everything on the Harris ticket.
What's really notable about Harris's surrogates is that they cover a really wide ideological range, from Democratic socialists like Bernie Sanders to Republican lawmakers and daughters of former Republican vice presidents like Liz Cheney.
Bernie using the moment to attack Trump, but also to address issues like abortion, healthcare, and climate change.
Climate change is real, and it's an existential threat to the future of this planet. That's why I'm here to make that point.
Notably, Wagner says Harris has brought more big names to Wisconsin than her competitor.
I think one reason for that is that she's been on a very accelerated campaign schedule, getting into the race very late.
Trump having strong name recognition, but Harris's late entry into the race isn't a concern for Sanders.
So I think the issues are very, very clear in this campaign. And I would hope the Wisconsinites think hard about it and support Kamala.
Sanders will be back in Wisconsin on the 14th for a campaign event in Milwaukee. For now, reporting in Baraboo, Ellie LaLiberte, News 3 Now.
Ellie, thank you. Thank you. Wisconsin GOP Chairman Brian Schimming putting out a statement on Senator Sanders visiting Wisconsin, saying Wisconsin Democrats are doubling down on disaster by putting Socialist Senator Bernie Sanders on tour. Sanders is the living embodiment of every failed extreme policy that Democrats have produced over the last 4 years. To more local news, just after 3:30 this evening, a lightning strike resulted in a fire at 506 West Cook Street in Portage, Wisconsin. Alliant Energy was even called to the scene as Portage Fire Rescue was having trouble dousing the fire. Red Cross also came to help residents affected by the fire. One animal was rescued, but unfortunately, a couple other animals died in the fire. A driver is dead after a crash in Jefferson this morning. Jefferson County Sheriff Travis Mays says a preliminary investigation shows the car was traveling southbound on CTH North when it veered off the road around the curve and hit a tree. The car was then overturned before stopping upright. The driver was alone and pronounced dead at the scene. The crash is currently under investigation. Now let's get a look at your first warn forecast with meteorologist Blaze Keller, who's out on the weather patio. Blaze, I see you got the coat on. Yeah. How does it feel out there?
A bit chilly. I can see my breath if I, look off towards the light. We haven't actually really tapped into our coldest air quite yet. We've got a low pressure system beginning to move on into parts of Wisconsin, bringing us that cooler air as we head into your Sunday, Monday, and then into Tuesday. Had a little bit of hail out in Mount Horeb. Thank you, Tech Chin, for sending us that. That was part of that line of showers and thunderstorms that moved through the area. If the radar here is going to loop back as those showers were moving out of kind of the dells through parts of Dane County, extending back into Iowa, Lafayette counties. But then at about 8 o'clock there shortly before, they really died out and pushed off towards, say, the south and east into further Lake Michigan. But in their wake, we picked up a couple tenths of an inch of rain. We got about, I would say, a tenth to maybe 2/10 of an inch here at the studio. But let's take it into Stoughton and just to the north of Dunkirk. That's where an estimated 2 inches of rain fell. And I only mention that because up to about yesterday, some of us had only seen about 1/100th of an inch of rain. So this is our most beneficial rain in about 20 or so days. We're going to quiet out tonight. The winds pick up and the rain returns for your Sunday. We'll track it all out in just a few minutes.
All right, Blaze, we'll see you then. After beating Purdue handily at home, the Badgers headed east for New Jersey to take on Rutgers. The Scarlet Knights provide a tougher test for Wisconsin. Andrew, could the Badgers back up last week's big game?
Well, Jalen, the Badgers didn't just back it up, they doubled down. Rutgers was favored to win this game and had only lost one game this season, but someone must have forgotten to mention that to Luke Fickell because the Badgers berated the Scarlet Knights from the word go. First drive and Braden Locke, he drops it on Will Pauling. Check this out, a beautiful arcing touchdown into the arms of number 6. But that was just the tip of the iceberg. The Badgers would run up the score and win in dominant fashion. 42-7 the final score. For the second straight week, everything was clicking for Bucky.
This is a team that's getting better, and just like I said last week, it's exciting. It's exciting to obviously to win, but it's exciting to see things continue to grow in front of our own face, and that's where, to me, I'm as happy and as proud as anything. I saw it this week during practice. Whatever role was placed in front of them, they were going to take, and I think that's where we're starting to see this culture continue to form in front of our face, and that's what's exciting to me.
Well, we showed you the throwing highlight that we had, and basically everything after that, it's on the ground game. We'll have Tawee Walker's career day coming up later in sports.
All right, another blowout win. Definitely looking forward to all those highlights, Andrew. Thank you. Tattoo artists are showing off their craft in Madison this weekend. Our Tanasia Shaw is at the Alliant Energy Center with the impact this event will have on small business owners.
Madison is a town that it loves art, and it always has something cool going on.
Right now, that cool event is a tattoo festival.
People might think you've got to go to the biggest cities to find the best artists. That's not the case.
This festival brings tattoo artists from across the world to Madison, and it also helps local business owners grow their business.
I've seen plenty of people who've come to my booth and they're like, oh, I didn't know you were in Madison. Madison's just it's spread out enough east and west to where it's really nice to just have more people see more people.
I spoke to the owners of Lost Lakes Tattoo and Forward Tattoo. Both said this festival not only helps build their clientele,
We always get a lot of followers from these events and we get to book a lot more tattoos.
but also exposes them to other artists in the tattoo community.
And it gets us to meet the other artists that we, wouldn't otherwise meet that are from around the area.
An industry that usually uses pen on more than just skin.
So we've been getting into trying to sell our own art in prints and trying to get other local art from artists that we've met through tattooing, offer to resell their art, and other little fun things so that people can kind of have a less boring lobby.
We also have vendors that are selling a bunch of different things, prints and fine art and t-shirts, all that kind of thing. So even if you're not gonna get a tattoo, there's definitely something for you.
The festival wraps up on Sunday and the doors open at 11 a.m. at the Alliant Energy Center. Reporting in Madison, Tanasia Shaw, News 3 Now.
Tanasia, thank you. Coming up next on News 3 Now at 10, a staple in Madison apple growing is stepping away from the business. What's next for Jim Schrader and his wife Sharon? We'll be right back.
The biggest mattress blowout of the year is happening now at Ashley. Save up to 40% off on Nectar mattresses starting at only $349. Save up to $600 on Beautyrest Black and free delivery. This is the big one. 60-month special financing with low monthly payments at Ashley.
They produced yacht rock hits that defined an era. It's Ambrosia. Performing live October 12th at Ho Chunk Gaming, Wisconsin Dells. With special guest John Ford Coley. Tickets are on sale now through Ticketmaster. Soft rock that rocked the yacht. Ambrosia, John Ford Coley, October 12th at Ho Chunk Gaming, Wisconsin Dells.
Billionaire banker Eric Hovde has a plan for Social Security.
Do you favor either raising the retirement age or cutting benefits?
I favor both.
Raising the retirement age?
You have to start changing the retirement age.
Hovde wants to raise the retirement age as high as 72. And Hovde just proposed cutting Social Security by 28%, costing the average beneficiary more than $6,000 a year. Eric Hovde, what's wrong with this guy?
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
I've been with U.S. Cellular for 27 years. They've always taken care of me. But when they asked me to talk to you about their special customer event, Us Days, I said, I gotta get in shape. So they sent me this Hollywood trainer. Oh, this guy's no joke. Us Days means exclusive deals just for us customers.
Now let's try burpees.
Us Days is back at U.S. Cellular. Current customers get $1,200 off any phone, plus $400 off any tablet.
With high inflation, working families like mine are hurting, and Kamala Harris helped create this mess. Now, while Americans struggle, Kamala spent our tax dollars putting illegal immigrants up in hotel rooms, and she supported spending our tax dollars to give illegals sex changes. It's not just liberal, it's insane. Kamala Harris can never, ever be our president.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
It seems like everyone in Washington is either too far left or too far right. I'm Rebecca Cook, and like most folks in Wisconsin, I'm somewhere in the middle. I'll stand up to Democrats to fight for a secure border and stop wasteful spending. I'll stand up to extremists like Derek Van Orden, who wants to ban all abortions with no exceptions. Like you, I'm fed up and ready for change. I approve this message because it's time that we sent one of us to Congress.
It's the biggest appliance blowout of the year at Furniture and Appliance Mart. Clearance and overstock appliance items are at huge discounts. We will meet or beat the big box store prices. This is the big one. 60-month special financing at Furniture and Appliance Mart inside Ashley.
The most important part of my job is to make sure that our public, our community is safe, and also to educate the public on weather. We're the certified most accurate team in town for forecasting, so that forecast has to be ready when you walk in the door. Always first, always accurate.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Thank you for staying with us. Madison's favorite apple grower, Jim Schrader, used to be a fixture in Madison, and after decades, now he's taking a step back from his hobby. Kyle Pozorski has his story.
Once we started here, we stayed here.
Jim Schrader is retiring. Well, actually, he's been retired full-time since 2000, but now he's stepping away from the Hilldale Farmers Market, calling the 2024 season his last.
So this is our 45th year selling at Hilldale.
And wrapping up a life of selling apples to and educating people across southern Wisconsin. We met up with Jim and his wife Sharon this past Wednesday. While for the past few decades, Jim and Sharon could be found at Hilldale's Wednesday and Saturday market, those of a certain age may remember Jim from a different time, working as a UW Extension horticulture agent. You see, horticulture, as it turns out, has always been in Jim's veins, ever since he can remember.
And we had like a half dozen apple trees or whatever. And we had big gardens and everything. So the whole horticulture thing was part of growing up, yes.
It's been in your blood the entire time?
The whole time, yes.
It was only later during his time at UW when he'd bring his knowledge to the masses, making appearances across Madison's media landscape, teaching the public how to manage and cultivate crops of their own. The people you have probably met over those years, what have they been like?
Some of them you know by name, most of them you know by face. They come for your apples, they come, yeah, that's the big part of it.
So now as the sun begins to set on this chapter of his life, Jim is now looking to take it all in before that final day of the market comes.
And I'm going to miss the people.
One sale at a time.
With Extension, my life was all about helping people. And this has been a nice substitute, interacting with all the people and everything. And that's the apples are just an excuse to come to the farmer's market.
In Madison, Kyle Pozorski, News 3 Now.
And we here at News 3 give our best wishes to Jim and Sharon as they end their apple growing adventures. The last day of the Hilldale Farmers Market for this season is in 2 weeks on October 26th. Now let's get a look at your first warn forecast with meteorologist Blaze Keller. Blaze, what should we expect?
Well, we're going to continue to track a Clipper system as it moves through the Midwest here, going into your Sunday. Through the late morning hours, we're going to get our first chance for some rain as the slow moves out of Minnesota into northern parts of Wisconsin. But then on the backside of this low pressure system, we once again see the chance for scattered showers, a few thunderstorms, not to mention breezy conditions as well. We'll touch on possible wind gusts in just a moment. Back behind it, we're still not done with the rain chance. High pressure is going to be moving in out of southern Canada. Could bring us some widespread frost, not only Monday morning, but Tuesday morning as well. And as you're watching Future Track, we're going to continue to keep that green as we go overnight Monday into Tuesday. And if that's the case, I'm not ruling out a few snowflakes. Probably not going to hit the ground. And if they do, we're not going to see any accumulation. But it just shows the extent of the cooler air that's being brought down from Canada, not only at the surface, but even about a mile above the surface where those raindrops turn over to snowflakes. I mentioned that the wind is on the way as well. That wall of wind beginning to move into western parts of Wisconsin as we go into about the 8, 9 o'clock time frame. Gusts could be upwards of about 30, 40, maybe even 45 miles per hour at times as we head into your Sunday afternoon and overnight into your Monday. Throughout Monday, though, the wind gusts start to die down, but we're not done with the breezy conditions. We're going to see pockets of gusts maybe upwards of 20 to 30 miles per hour even as we go into your Tuesday, especially along that Lake Michigan shoreline as those winds continue to remain out of the north. The reason why we're going to be so breezy is because we have to move in this cooler and drier air mass in time for Monday and keep it around into Tuesday as well. We're hanging out in the upper 30s to low 40s on Tuesday morning. It's Tuesday into Wednesday that our overnight lows dip into those low 30s, if not the upper 20s. So Tuesday night into Wednesday is definitely when more of that widespread frost is going to be possible, and when you may want to bring in those plants if you don't do it Monday, because we will most certainly get to freezing, if not below it. Now, this is all part of a bigger maybe breakdown of our blocking pattern that has been essentially going on since the end of August. We're seeing that increased chance for precipitation not only over the next 6 to 10 days, which takes us through the extended forecast, but if we extend that even further to the next 2 weeks, we're still in that chance for wetter than normal conditions. The high pressure system off to our west is maybe being pushed off towards the south and west further into the Pacific, allowing systems to move into the Pacific Northwest. As we jump ahead to later parts of next week, a high pressure system to our south and east is going to allow for moisture to move up across parts of the northern plains into parts of the Great Lakes as we head into our upcoming weekend, and then possibly further as we go into the middle of our following work week. So some great news for a very dry portion, or a very dry state, not only across southern Wisconsin, but across northern Wisconsin as well. 50s tomorrow. It is going to be breezy. There is a look quickly at your planner, taking us from the morning into the evening hours. And there is a look at that 7 and 10 day forecast. After hanging out in the 50s to start off next week, we'll end next week back in the 70s with plenty of sunshine.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
These Baldwin ads are nasty.
I can't stand them.
She never tells the truth. Now she says Eric Hovde wants to raise the retirement age.
That's malarkey.
I saw in the news Social Security will be going bankrupt in 8 years.
Are you kidding? We need Social Security.
You're surprised? Washington spends money like crazy.
And Baldwin supports all of it.
I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message.
You better get a job.
You get a job.
Dear road rivals, no truck on the road drives value like the Tundra. Day after day, mile after mile, it all adds up to big savings under the hood. What's under yours? Toyota Tundra.
Right now, lease a new Tundra for $479 a month or get 3.99% APR for 72 months on a new Tundra. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
I'm Joan Balwig, and here at the shop, we have solutions both big and small. And that's why I fought in Madison for historically large increases for our fire, police, and EMS. and made sure that our small businesses had the permits that they needed to operate. I delivered millions for ag and rural road funding and created the one-day fishing license. I brought both sides together to make sure that our kids can both read and write. And those are both really big things, but you get the idea.
How do you make everyone's favorite buffet even better? How do you make the country's best chicken even more exciting? How do you make Thursday the best night ever? Wing night at Pizza Ranch. Boneless and traditional. A variety of sauces. All the wings you want, plus all your other buffet favorites. The country's best wing night is here. Taking flight Thursday nights only at Pizza Ranch. Everyone's favorite buffet.
At Spectrum, we believe every day unlocks unlimited possibilities to bring you closer to the people and places you love. Spectrum transforms your gaming experience into a galaxy of adventures. And with the fastest, most reliable internet, you're always front row to the entertainment you love, no matter where you are. Get Spectrum Internet Premier for $30 per month when bundled plus a 3-year price guarantee. Call 1-833-440-0029. Spectrum Internet puts streaming live TV, sports, and popular apps all at your fingertips.
You're tuned in to Better Halves. Mike, what are you looking for?
Skip, I'm not getting older. I'm getting better. I still got big plans for my life and my Medicare.
I know exactly what you want from Medicare. Same as all the other guys. Me!
Hey, Mike, I'm Sheila from Security, and I'm just like you. In fact, I'm from your neighborhood, and I've got a Medicare plan that treats you like you.
Did it just get better in here?
Breaking news into our newsroom in just the last few minutes. Police are reporting an armed gunman downtown. According to a Badger Safe Alert posted at 9:58, the man was spotted at the 400 block of State Street. Police are on the scene and asking people to avoid the area. We'll continue to keep you updated as we gather more information both on air and online at channel3000.com.
After losing to Alabama and USC, Luke Fickell said that he wanted the Badgers to define their top running back and feed that running back the ball. It's a strategy that worked last week. Tawee Walker ran for 3 touchdowns against Purdue, but this week it was different. They were an underdog on the road, and it turned out it didn't really matter. Stick to the script. Tawee Walker told them, it's my time. Badgers leading by 7, then add to it. Walker's 2-yard touchdown makes it 14-zip Bucky. But the Tawee train, it was just getting started. Look at this one. Looks like it was going to get out of hand, and Walker said, yeah, let's make it out of hand. Touchdown on a 9-yard run. That would make it 28-0 Wisconsin. But the best thing about Tawee is that his touchdowns tend to come in threes. Badgers leading 28-7, and Tawee wanted it all. 55 yards to the house, his 3rd touchdown of the day, to go along with 198 yards on the ground. And the Badgers win it big, 42-7, a statement win, passing yet another threshold that a couple weeks ago would have seemed unfathomable for this group.
Obviously, we can talk about Tawee Walker, who had a 201 or something like that, or 198 yards, and his impact is huge, but you know, it's because of those guys up front. And if I would say anything about today, we challenged our guys. The challenge was how are we going to handle this thing up front? And I think on both sides of the ball, we handled it and we took the challenge and executed pretty well today.
Now, if you want to talk about exceeding expectations, what UW-Platteville is doing right now is on a whole different level. Last week, they beat number 3 Oshkosh on the road, their biggest win as a program in a long time. But it's no easier this week, playing yet another top 5 ranked team, River Falls, scoreless in the second quarter, and the Pioneers putting it together. Michael Primi drops back and puts it on his man, John Gumi. He scores the touchdown. Platteville puts it together today, rattling off 3 straight touchdowns after this one, playing spoiler once more. How about those Nears? They win it 28-7. Yet another upset, but this one not quite as good news. Number 10, Whitewater falls to UW Stout in a shocker. 29-27 is the final score there. Wisconsin women's hockey is 4-0 to start the season, but faced their real first test of the season today. Third-ranked Duluth is always a difficult team to beat, and the Badgers were fired up for their chance to prove why they've got that number 1 in front of their name. Scoreless in the first period, and the puck moving around like a flying saucer. It finds Layla Edwards, who finds the back of the net. Badgers take a 1-0 lead into the first intermission. But in the second period, check this out. Kelly Gorbatanko, she's going to receive the pass and takes a stroll down the rink. And then she joins up with her friend Lainey Potter, who finds the back of the net, too. The Badgers in a statement win over third-ranked Duluth. They win it 5-1. And the Wisconsin men, they would try to rebound from a shocking season-opening loss to Lindenwood last night. The Lions, they had them early, but then Wisconsin came all the way back and forced overtime in that overtime period. How about Daniel Latch finding the twine? Wisconsin comes back to win and avoids disaster in overtime. 3-2 is the final score. Well, that's a whole lot of sports for one day, but I think, generally cream rises to the top, and I think one of the biggest things we could talk about in this entire day is what the Wisconsin Badgers are doing right now. It's hard to think, given where they were a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I don't want to understate or downplay the rushing attack, but that's Wisconsin's bread and butter.
Right.
What we typically don't see is the passing attack. We've seen the last 2 weeks from Braden Locke, probably not since the days of Russell Wilson and Nick Toon 10+ years ago. But Braden Locke, highly recruited out of high school, again, broke tons of Texas high school state records. So it's good to see the talent finally being on full display.
And that even goes further for guys like Vinny Anthony, somebody that continues to put together these big games. And, I mean, you can't look much further than Tawee Walker. If you're Oklahoma right now, you're kind of thinking, how did we let this guy go? He has been huge for Wisconsin, and honestly, getting that feature back role that can eat up yards, score your touchdowns, has changed everything for this Wisconsin team kind of overnight.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully they can keep things rolling. They got through a tough stretch of the schedule. Now we're seeing, once they get into the core of it, what they can do.
And Platteville, too. I mean, my goodness.
Roll Nears.
You said it, not me.
All right, well, sounds good. Thank you, Andrew. A final check of your first warn forecast is coming up when we return.
Spas. The Swim Spa Hot Tub and Sauna Show is this weekend only. Rows and rows of spas, hot tubs, cool tubs, and swim spas. The largest display in the state. Save up to 60% on all in-stock models. This weekend only in the exhibition hall at the Allied Energy Center in Madison.
When my husband got throat cancer, it wasn't just a health crisis. It was a financial one for my family. And that's something rural families know all too well. Joan Ballwig voted against expanding affordable health care for rural families and against bringing drug costs down. And that's one reason I decided to run against her. I'm Sarah Kieski, and I'm running for state senate. Because when someone you love needs medical care, the last thing you should have to worry about is how to pay for it.
Brian Stiles said he's proud of his extreme record. So why is he lying about it? Stiles said he was proud to be part of a group pushing to gut Social Security and Medicare, that he proudly supports abortion bans. And Brian Stiles said he's proud to be backed by extremists pushing a total ban nationwide. Peter Barca's backed by police, firefighters, and unions because Peter puts Wisconsin first, no matter the party, and that's something to be proud of.
I'm Peter Barca, and I approve this message.
Kamala Harris is going to significantly raise taxes.
Taxes are going to have to go up?
Kamala's plan will raise families' taxes by nearly $2,600 a year. Under Kamala, prices have already soared. Now she'd make it worse with even higher taxes.
Taxes are going to have to go up?
President Trump will cut taxes again. No taxes on tips, overtime, or Social Security.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
My name is Bill. I am retired. I'm a Marine Corps veteran, and I live here in Wisconsin. I am not a political person, but Eric Hovde doesn't understand how important Social Security and Medicare are around here. I'm on Social Security, and Hovde said he absolutely supported cuts to Social Security and Medicare. Imagine working longer, paying into the system, and then poof, you're paying your bills with less. He knows it. Cutting Social Security and Medicare will cost us. He just doesn't care.
WIN Senate is responsible for the content of this message.
The feet have a really big impact on how the rest of the body moves. The knees, the hips, the lower back especially. If the foot isn't properly aligned, all of these joints are going to function incorrectly. That results in a lot of muscle tension and chronic pain. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that the right arch supports can put the foot in its proper alignment, so all the joints up the rest of the body will be aligned properly as well. And when the body's aligned, we can reduce the risk of injury and chronic pain.
Hip, knee, or back pain? See if Arch Supports can help you at the Good Feet store.
Spas, spas, spas. The Swim Spa Hot Tub and Sauna Show is this weekend only. Rows and rows of spas, hot tubs, cool tubs, and swim spas. The largest display in the state. Save up to 60% on all in-stock models. This weekend only in the exhibition hall at the Allied Energy Center in Madison.
3 for the people, only on News 3 Now.
Thank you for staying with us. The last block, we had some breaking news at the top of our newscast. Just a couple things we want to go over before we send things over to weather and then closing out the show. Police are reporting an armed gunman downtown. According to a Badger Safe Alert posted at 9:58, the man was spotted at the 400 block of State Street. Police are on the scene asking people to avoid the area, so please spread the word. If you have any loved ones in the area or just people downtown in general, please spread the word. Let everybody know what's going on. We'll continue to keep you updated both online and on air. Our website is channel3000.com, and you can download our Channel 3000 news app for all of our latest updates. So please, once again, spread the word, and please be safe this evening. Blaze, a final check before we head on out.
Yeah, we're going to continue to track the chance for scattered showers and non-severe thunderstorms for your Sunday. We'll also be dealing with windy conditions too. 50s for temperatures. I would say farther north and east, you're going to have the better chance for not only showers, but a few thunderstorms to end the weekend. We'll still keep that scattered shower threat into your Monday, but really widespread frost becomes the story Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday morning. And then we're ending next week in the 70s with plenty of sunshine.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Blaze. Packers back in action tomorrow, Blaze.